All right, welcome to Next Level Tech, the game room where we have a little fun while we're talking about the technology. With me today, I've got the boys from Bolin here to talk about cameras, the camera market, and all the things that are happening in the world. So, and apparently you guys chose billiards?
We did.
All right, we're gonna play some billiard ball and talk a little technology while we have some fun. So, who's breaking them?
Do you want to break?
I'll try to break them.
All right, we're
Been a while.
All right, good. Now, you guys pairing off against me? You're going to trade back and forth?
I think that might make the most sense.
That's fair. That's fair.
We are going against you in Ninja Turtle ways.
Almost
did a whole time.
Oh, this is going to be classic. So I'm going to set you up. Don't complain if you don't like my setup. You want to break? You know what? Because that thing's in the way.
Right, from the other side, yeah.
Yeah, break this in. All right. So, I mean, honestly, guys, as we look at the camera world and kind of, you happy with this zone right here?
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, when we look at cameras, what do you think's the biggest innovation that's come to the camera market in the last couple of years? Like, what's the thing that you go, finally, it happened?
There's a couple of things that have kind of happened in the camera world that are interesting. The biggest and I think the most obvious answer is just fitting a higher resolution into smaller and smaller bodies, getting us to do being able to put like a 4K image block into a body that's as small as this, really, right? That's been able to put cameras in unique places that you wouldn't normally otherwise be able to capture a shot and still control it. Because it used to be you put a big box camera in a corner with great resolution and that was kind of where you were at. But now you can move around and get some dynamic shots in the process.
See, this is going to be interesting to see how well people can carry a thought when like loud things. You don't want to be loud. I was like, wait. No, I know you were waiting for your time to break in. I'm like, this is classic. So with that in mind, though, where do you see it going next? Where do you see the technology? Oh, I got to go in now. You left me really well set up with me.
Yes.
So like, thanks, I think.
That is an easy one.
You say it's an easy one, but you haven't seen me play pool yet. So with that in mind, see what I mean?
Wow.
That was, but all I was trying to do was mess you up from getting anything better with the next one.
Oh, yeah. Good job.
Yeah. So are we just going to see a continual rise in sensor size? What else can come into the camera world to really kind of shake things up and make it different?
Well, it's not just the sensor size, right? Part of the camera is the actual imaging itself, but the other thing in the camera world is the actual transmission of the image. Dang it.
I really thought that.
Go
close.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the actual transmission of the image is the other thing. As it always used to be, you had 50 cables running out of camera to get into a production shot, but now you're able to do it with, 1 or 2 cables with the advent of AVoverIP, you're able to take that image and send it a lot further.
Yeah.
And with less latency and still maintain that full resolution.
One of us is just going to have to break the cluster up. I will.
Okay.
We're just going to play with those two at the end and we'll deal with that later.
I'm starting to sense that none of us should have chosen pool as our game of choice today, right?
There's also a lot going on, a lot of innovation in the attaching AI to the camera and what it does. And not just in tracking, but in like smart exposure, smart focus.
I'm blowing this up.
People are starting to be able to do stuff now that they used to have to rely on computer stripes, to assist them.
Did I get one down?
Yep. Yeah, straight from that one.
What?
Nice.
That's the first time in a long while.
And set yourself up very well for the next shot.
You say that, but I'm trying to find it right now. Like, can I drop any of these? Okay, so AI. What's your thought on it? Everybody's doing the obvious, which is the auto tracking. Is there any other implementation of AI that we can throw into a camera that makes sense? Any other utilization?
Well, there's none that's out there right now, but it's interesting what you can do with that sort of tracking data. One is, the tracking of people itself, but with that comes things like being able to automate. For example, if I know that this person's wearing mic 1, I see them exit the stage, then I know I can mute their mic the second they go off the stage through algorithms of who's on and who's off.
Interesting.
So that's kind of the next portion of AI, I think, is not just being able to track the camera, but track what's happening on stage and triggering movements based on that. Well, I'll try.
I think we'll also be able to, how PTZ cameras, it's not some part of the voice.
That was good. You're welcome. You're welcome, Nick.
Bye, T.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know how on a still camera you have like spot evaluative metering, and the metering is kind of a big deal. But with PTZ, it's going to be going all over the place. So like It's not such a big deal, but that's something that's missing. With AI, you could program it to say, this is my priority 1 object, and this is priority 2, and it would spot on that wherever you turn it. There's stuff like that I think you can do with AI that hasn't really been tapped into yet.
How does user experience and interface come into your decisions when doing camera designs? I mean, because a lot of people don't write, like, I think of camera in terms of, what lens am I getting? What servos am I getting? What sensor am I getting?
Right.
How does the whole user experience come into your design choices when you're building these?
For us, it's usually the thing that's top of mind, and some of our latest cameras, like the R9 and the XU, are the perfect example of, we're paying attention to the market, we're saying what pain points people have, things like integrating a handle into the camera body itself, right? It's something so basic, yet no one else has done it till this point, just because we don't think they're really paying attention to what some of the pain points are. Having like an indoor camera that has a handle built into the body where, hey, if I'm on a rental job, I can just pick 2 up and go, rather than how do I hold this thing in a weird way? Down to what even the web interfaces look like and what's functional in a web interface. What do I really want it to be able to do? Yeah, I'd say we're listening to our market and listening to what people are asking for.
We speaking of GUI, there's a nice video that's out that explains how to do basic setup and some extra things with our keyboard controller.
Yeah.
And we've made it real easy to go in and name all of the things that are attached to it right there in the GUI. Without having to go in one by one, you can just set it up and you can export, import. And so you could set up, pre-setup and then go.
Quick, get them all done rather,
Exactly.
on each individual one, set it, forget it.
Right. And you don't even need the controller to set them up anymore. Now we've made it where you can log on to the interface, you can find all the cameras on the network and say, this is in camera 1 and this is what I'm gonna name it, rather than messing with a tiny little number pad or something somewhere.
Why do I feel like it's been a while since all of us have touched Cool, right?
I think it has.
Yeah. Okay, so, I mean, David, you've been at Bolin how many years now?
Like about, over 4.
Over an hour. Spawn, you're a little bit newer.
Yeah, I've been there for just about 2 years now.
What's the one surprise you guys have had when you think about like how your customers are using your cameras? Was it like, we never thought of anybody putting a camera there or using it for that. Like, there's got to be one in there that
there's a lot of these. Again, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where these cameras are getting smaller and they're able to be put in a lot of interesting places and do crazy things. Our unique thing is we do outdoor PTZ cameras with broadcast quality lenses on them. And so I think this time last year, we had gotten a call from the Space Needle in Seattle, and they said, hey, yeah, we just ordered a couple of your cameras. We're wondering if we could get your hands on the API. We're gonna mount one on the roof, and when people walk into the building, we want them to be able to go to a touchscreen and just discover everything that's around them in real time. We go, yeah, that's totally doable. How did you realize that this is something you want to do? But yeah, so our cameras end up in crazy places like that all the time. Yeah. San Diego Zoo was another interesting one where they said, oh, pandas are coming back to the States and we want to have cameras that are, doing live streams of the pandas. And they said, first of all, the camera needs to be certified by a board of 10 international scientists who say the pandas won't get hurt if they go near the camera.
You have panda-safe cameras?
That's what we're told, yeah.
That's classic. I mean, I don't know why you don't have that on the website. Our cameras are panda-certified.
You know what? That's gonna be the next.
They're very overly conscious about how it's displayed, but we'd love to do a case study on that in the future to open up. But yeah,
that's classic.
That was a great one.
They took they put a camera near a panda and they said, can they get their hand stuck anywhere on the camera, or can something get pinched if they're near it?
Well, that brings up a good point. The camera does have a good amount of torque.
Yeah,
and it does have a good pan speed, and it's lifting and moving something that weighs like 22 pounds. So it's got enough torque probably to hurt a person or a panda. So I get that. It's a pretty serious piece of machinery in that way. So, they're like environmental experts, but towards what could happen to the panda. And then, if one of our cameras hurt a panda, it's like an international incident. So,
well, yeah, seriously, because most of those come from.
Yeah.
So what do you, stepping back from maybe your cameras for a minute, yeah. Dave, which one are you going to go with, Dave? Come on, you got lots of choices.
I feel like this would work if it was the iPhone. No.
Did you say it would work on the iPhone? I feel like it would.
It's this one. I'm going to be. Well, we didn't say where he was going to drop it, but you keep putting me in like the greatest places.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to hit right now.
Well, it's over.
That is, yeah. That's what it is. All right, last one for the hour here, because I think technically, even though Sapan made most of my shots, I might be winning this round.
Hey, I'm a team player.
That's true. That's
Sure, what team? I'm a team player.
What do you think's missing from this industry? What do we need next? Like what tech or what change even could really evolve things?
Yeah. I think the next thing that is really to come is simplifying it for the user. Because to a certain extent, while there's more integrations, things like that, things are still fairly siloed off between, you have your audio guys on one side, you have your streaming devices here, you have your video capture devices here, your controllers here. And while they talk, they're not, it's not easy, right? You still got to set up, I mean, look at the setup, right? How many devices you need to bring everything together?
48.
Yeah. So how much easier would it be if you can just put in a couple of boxes and say, okay, this is gonna be my streaming device, my control device, my switching device, and my audio control all in one, right? So things like that where you're able to bring different technologies together and make it easier for the user to go in and say, okay, I'm a mobile producer. I'm just gonna go in, set my cameras up, here's my one controller, I can do everything I need from here, and maybe a computer to augment it a little bit. But kind of making it easier for control, I think the next big thing.
Do you think NDI is a big piece of that, or do you see other technologies coming into that are necessary as well?
I mean, I think NDI is one of the biggest players in that space, right? You talk about NDI started for video, but it's not just for video anymore. You have NDI for audio, you have metadata that's being put through it. You've got easy transmission protocol. It's just all data at the end of the day. So NDI can totally make it work. Not to say that there are other technologies, but NDI might be in the best position to take that position.
Yeah, fair enough. Agreed.
Yeah.
All right, this has been Next Level Arcade. Next Level Tech Arcade. We got to get the tech part in because that's what we're doing. We're talking tech, we're playing games, and we're having fun. This has been David and Sapan from Bolin, and catch the next episode coming soon.
It's been a pleasure.